take whatever.
Let's go.
What up, what up? It's the Chief, Kaseek Ortiz.
Tyrant333, and we're in the building. And this is Figure It the Fuck Out.
Yes, sir.
And we got a good, spicy one for you today. A lot of developments, like we've been saying, happen in the music industry. And another one that is rolling out for y'all is, you musicians and people in the industry, is the acquisition of Tunecore and how Warner Music Group is putting up some big bucks, it looks like, to get in to acquire Believe, which is heavily affiliated with Tunecore.
Right.
I think they might even own Tunecore.
Yep.
And really try to put up the bread to acquire that. There's a lot of artists out here that may be watching this or watch this at some point that are getting distributed through Tunecore.
Right.
So that could mean a lot.
Me being one of them, we talked about it.
Ben Grizz has records distributed with Tunecore. So this could mean a lot for people. Big changes coming. So I don't know, you want to speak on that?
Yeah, so I hit Tyrant up. I was like, we had just finished up probably talking about a distribution episode. And we were trying to let artists know about other distributors and what you can and can't do and what they do, et cetera. And come to find out that Tunecore is not necessarily saying that they're going up for grabs, but their parent company, the company that actually owns Tunecore, which is Believe Music, which is actually an independent record label. Some of y'all don't know that. A lot of y'all think you're independent artists, which you are, signing up for a service like Tunecore. They end up being owned by different companies. And I actually put this on the table too, is that DistroKid is also owned by Sony and Spotify. So when you look at these things, like
if you don't know, now you know, nigga.
Facts. So it's like these people, you sign up for these services, you want to do certain things with them. When I hit up Tyrant, I was like, yo, I just seen that he actually figured out the number. I just heard it through the grapevine that Warner Music is looking to buy. I'll keep it short, not short, but I'll go into some depth that, Believe Music is an independent record label. They are publicly traded, like most companies are. Publicly traded, they are traded out in France. I was kind of going crazy because I was like, damn, I'm a part of Tunecore. And I guess their shares are like $11, $12 a piece. That's nor here nor there. But here comes Warner Music and is like, yo, we want to buy the lion's share of your company at like $18 a share, $20 a share. And then he finds out the number is $1.6 billion that they want to buy it out. So if Believe accepts it, facts, back it up, all the way up. If they end up getting this acquisition going, not only will they own Believe Music, but they'll own how many ever spots that you were claiming that they actually owned. I know that Believe owns Tunecore, and that's about it. And then you read off like 5 different companies that Believe.
Let me see if I can find it here, but it is kind of interesting. They had a whole lot of companies under the umbrella here. Let's see.
Right, and I think that's just crazy because it's like, shit, if they get that, the type of catalog and, I guess, business-ship that they'll be getting into is really worth it. When I heard 1.8, I was like, 1.8 for Tunecore or 1.8 for Believe Music? I can't really see that being beneficial. But when you read off all the companies that fall under this umbrella, I was like, oh, man.
And these brands are Tunecore, like we spoke about, Nuclear Blast, Naive, Groove Attack, Play 2, and All Points. And, these brands, they say, are known for scouting singers, helping them launch their careers online. So if you haven't been in contact with them yet, you might want to go and start compiling the contacts there if your dream is to be affiliated with a label.
Right.
Warner Music sees an opportunity to integrate Believe into a global business, which, I'm kind of already looking at Believe as kind of global. They're definitely working with a global audience of artists.
Right. They own Tunecore, so Tunecore is like a global audience, but maybe Believe is more, because it's an independent, Believe has kind of been like that private company, even though they're publicly traded.
And, it says in the statement, the global music major led by CEO Robert, I can't even pronounce the Kinkle or something like that, said it considers that such a combination would be beneficial to the company and all of its other stakeholders, shareholders, employees, artists, and labels. So, like we were saying, everybody's getting looped into this. Massive takeover. When these things happen, these acquisitions, all of a sudden, some people are losing jobs. People are getting promoted into a whole new company, a company culture that was not what they were doing before. So
we were just talking about Universal and their layoff. And if they lay off all these people under this umbrella, which is Def Jam, Republic, Capitol Records, and Universal Music Group in itself, you have all these promoters, marketers, music execs that are leaving these platforms, and they're going to end up getting hired in either they're going to start their own distribution platforms, their own sidebar companies where they're going to help marketing and A&Rs and all that good stuff, or they're going to end up going to these locations like a Tunecore, Believe Music. Like there's going to end up being another job opening, because if they get that acquisition, now that's kind of gives something for independent artists to think about, is that if you're signing up for these services, are you actually going to continue to be independent, or is it going to end up being like, oh, now you're a part of Warner Music?
Which goes back into that power play we also spoke about of Warner opening up their own streaming services.
Universal.
That was Universal.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But, the labels seem to, like, they're trying to get their pieces of the pie no matter what right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of seeming what's going on. Like,
they're like, oh,
like, how do we pivot and still get a huge lion's share of what the industry's putting out and everything?
We can't sign artists, or we can't keep artists signed to us. Fuck it. I'm going to buy up the Tunecores. I'm going to buy up the Distro Kids. I'm going to buy up STEM distribution. I wanted to be a part of STEM, and I was a little let down when Sony acquired them.
And it's so much money, so many B's, that these people are like, we can't turn this deal down.
Right.
Look at this is the deal of a lifetime.
So it's like,
look at the dude who sold QC.
Right.
People never thought that would happen, right? And then when the right M's came on the table, he was like, yo, this can change our family's lives. Like he said, what did he say? It's not selling out, it was selling in.
Right.
That's what P said, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And that was interesting when he said that. I know a lot of people had mixed emotions about that.
Right.
Right. It definitely is. And that's what's going on all through the industry right now.
It kind of got my brain kind of rolling a little bit too, now that we're talking about it too. I know you got your phone on you. Could you actually see if Warner Music is actually under Universal? Because I can't remember if that's one of the companies that's under. I think Warner Brothers is its own entity with like Sony. Like Sony is separate from Universal. But if Warner, my idea was just that if Warner is under the umbrella of Universal Music and they acquire Tunecore, does that mean all the artists that are on Tunecore get removed off of the TikToks and all these other platforms?
That is, so Warner Brothers Discovery, a massive group comprising brands such as Discovery, Warner Brothers, HBO, HGTV, Food Network, and many others. So I don't know. That's a good question.
Because Universal also has Universal Studios. Because Universal isn't just music.
I don't think they're the two owned. So there's like power players in this whole thing.
Yeah.
And Universal's one of them.
Definitely.
Warner's one of them.
Definitely.
And Sony,
I just didn't know if they were a separate entity or if they are
pretty sure
under the same umbrella. I just had my brain roll. I was like, oh shit, I didn't think about this. What if Universal owns Warner and then they buy Tunecore? Does that mean all the music gets ripped off of these platforms? Because
I wonder what's going to happen with all this though, like with all these acquisitions. So are they going to clean house? And,
I don't know.
All these independent artists, all these artists got these streaming farms making all this money off of streams and stuff like that. Are they going to wipe them out? Or are they going to make it exclusively for artists they sign and work with? Or are they going to keep just capitalizing off the whole industry?
I think it'll be a little
independence.
I think it'll be a little bit of all that, because I feel like there is that lack of like having great talent on these record labels. You're actually having not even just the talent, but you're also having less jobs where there's less A&Rs, there's less music execs trying to go out to go find these artists. Usually record labels aren't even trying to sign anybody until you have something going on. They basically only want you when you're hot.
Yeah, you gotta, and that goes back into, you gotta know how to market yourself these days and network.
Right. So like when they do stuff like this, where it's like they're buying a whole thing, now you're pretty much just accepting anybody. They actually don't even have to have the the fire doesn't have to be set. You know what I'm saying? Like they could just be, I decided to make music today, decided to record and release it through Tunecore, but now Warner Music owns part of it. I do think what
The
it does
artist
do,
development is lacking.
yeah, I think what it does do is that it leaves it open to, like I said, if artists are strictly like, I need to be independent, I don't want no label help, then that might be a conflict for them. They might go from, Tunecore might go from being an annual price to now we only accept a certain amount of people on Tunecore, which might be great or it might be bad. It depends how you look at it. Everybody's different. I personally like to be independent, but there's people out there that they need to have some type of representation through a record label. They want to be on a record label. And that's okay
Definitely.
too, because they have great resources.
Like the major leagues.
Yeah.
The way they got it set up. You know?
Who doesn't want to play for the major leagues? If you start playing basketball, everybody has a dream. I want to be Michael Jordan, or I want to be LeBron, or I want to be Kobe.
The artists are looking at it like they want to be Drake. They want to be 21 Savage.
Right.
They want to be maybe Playboy Cardi.
Right.
They want to be these dudes
Whoever.
that, you know, are on the big main stages.
Yeah.
Everybody does. I mean, I don't see why you're doing music if you don't, but there's a lot of other ways to eat off of music is what I realized.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little other ways to make money. And that's what these major players are trying to corner every part of those markets so they get their piece of the pie. Because there's ways that they can not get any pieces. The artist, hey, he might not be the biggest artist in the world, but he's definitely paid and his family's good off of music, you know? And either way, it's a good place to be, but you got to really think about where you want to be in your career, where you want to take it.
Yeah, if anybody's like familiar with like tarot readings, I feel like all these companies are having what's called a tower moment. And basically a tower moment is basically where everything comes crumbling down. You're starting from zero in that sense. In a weird sense, it's like you're coming from ground zero. And I feel like a lot of these companies are having these weird ups. You know, the TikTok ban is going on. The Universal Music is like, hey, we're going to rip our songs, our catalog off of TikTok, but then we're also going to come out with a streaming platform so you can pay us to listen to the songs that you do love. Warner Music's like, hey, I got 1.8 or $1.6 billion to buy all these companies and own Tunecore. Let's just make it rain and own all these independent artists on our platform. You know, all that shit just kind of like comes like full circle. And then like, I think it was Motown Records, a representative from over there. I just heard the lady, she was like, I'm such and such name. I'm from Motown Records. And basically they're going to like these boards, these meeting boards and saying, hey, Spotify, Apple Music, and all these other distributors or DSPs that people have their music on, we need y'all to start paying us more. So it's like all this is happening, these layoffs, TikTok, and then people are going to bat saying, hey, if our music is going to be on these platforms, you need to pay us more. And I think that article said something about at least 1 cent per stream. And for some people that don't know, depending on the distribution company that you're with, you're getting like 1/10 of a penny. And
especially for these people getting thousands and millions of streams, that could change things a lot. That, you know, seems something small, but that could do a lot.
It could change those who are actually living off of the streaming world. You know, that would make good for them. It'd also be still kind of a slap in the face because like artists should not be fighting for fucking 1 cent.
It should be more.
It should be more. But that's where I kind of go back, and I'm always going to continue to keep going back into or leading back into that we should be selling more direct to our fans and creating a real relationship with people and taking contact information, emails, numbers, all that good stuff, and actually building a community. Because I think that's the most important, because all that stuff is there. The infrastructure is already there. You know, DSPs, they're there. You can stream music. Sure, you can pay $10 a month and have it on Apple Music or Spotify. Cool. But if you support that artist and you can buy the art from the artist, you're doing more. That's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, you don't go to these bootleg stores to go buy Jordans. You know what I'm saying? You'd rather go to like the other stores.
And building that community is the most important key there. I saw you the other day actually speaking on that. You know, it seemed like you were purging people. Like, was the purge on your social media the other day on one of them? I think it was like Facebook or something.
Yeah, I had to purge on Facebook. I purged it also on Instagram too. Like, you know, there's just, obviously there's kind of like some dead weight, you know. I've grown, maybe they've grown. Like, maybe they don't support what I did. Maybe they liked me at one point, maybe the algorithm used to show them my stuff, but now they don't see it. So if I delete you and re-add you or
That's
whatever,
always changing too.
it's kind of like, hey, now it's kind of like we're getting a fresh new start. You can actually see my content because I'm actually trying to generally grow. There's no point of having a whole bunch of people on either my friends list, my followers list, if you don't actually support what I got going on. I don't need lurkers. The lurker's not going to help me do anything. You know what I'm saying? You hate me and I don't even know you. Like, there's no point of that. Like,
yeah, you know, and always work with the people who want to work with you. That's what we want to do these days. And fuck everybody else. We don't care about those.
Go where you're celebrated, not just tolerated. Like, it might sound simple, but like, the energy will shift and change and be so much better and more fulfilling personally as an individual if you're around that type of energy.
100%. And, you know, that's what we're doing over here at GGF. So again, watch out for all these updates going on. You know, watch out for where your catalog's at. Pay very close attention to that. Know what's going on in the industry, these changes, these trends, and we're going to give it to you here. We're figuring it the fuck out.
Yes, sir. Peace.